Hi everyone and welcome back to episode 9 in the 25 Days Survival Multiplayer series. In this episode we're going to get a lot of things done, including a kind of short rescue mission to get Rick's stuff back. We're going to make some developments to the base. We're going to build our Nether tunnel with some help from some of the other players. We're going to introduce a new player. There's so much going on in this episode. I really hope that you enjoy it. If you're enjoying the series so far and you're not subscribed, maybe now's the time. Get the notification for the next video that comes out, because a video is coming out every Friday at 7:30 GMT. But this is 25 days, days 201 to 225. Sit back, grab a drink. Hope that you enjoy it. This is the Shadowlands Season 3 series. On day 201, I came across Rick in the Nether, and he was working on the Nether tunnel to our base, so I decided to lend him a hand. We spent a couple of days on this and I loved working in this method where there was two of us just tackling the project together and getting stuff done. Absolutely loved it. We weren't quite sure what to use for some of the decorations. Someone suggested polished andesite. I for some reason read that as polished diorite, so I went out diorite mining, but it ended up being used anyway. So instead of andesite we had diorite on the walls. Sorry if that offends anybody. It was half complete and I thought, yeah, do you know what, that doesn't look terrible. Maybe some of you will disagree. Princess came and gave us a hand mining out the Nether tunnel, putting all of the blocks in place. While I was back at the industrial area grabbing ink sacks for Rick, this happened. Rick had been done by that incessant portal glitch, so I said, damn! And I was waiting by story portal because I was too scared to go through. By the time I did, Rick had rage quit, and so there was no rescue mission to be had, so I just stood there with Stony and we twiddled our thumbs for a little bit. I went into day 206 carrying on with the Nether tunnel before it hit me. I could still go and rescue his stuff, so I did. I was an expert in this glitch now, I knew how it worked, so I made my way to what I thought were the right coordinates, and someone had already lit up the lush cave forest, which I was very grateful for because I didn't get mobbed by mob. I found Rick's stuff, collected it all, had a little look to make sure that it was in fact his stuff, and it was a black bed, and I thought, yeah, Rick loves a black bed. Success. All I had to do now was make it back to the shopping district through the dark oak forest in the night time. And then there she was, lights of torches put there by players. It could only be the shopping district. Jumped into the water, found a chest, stuck Rick's stuff in it, stuck a little sign on it so Rick knew where to look, and then on day 209 I got to expanding my base ready for an auto sorter level to go in here above the previous one that already exists. When I logged on the next day it was day 210 and I went through the portal and found myself in the Nether tunnel which Rick had finished off, but I wanted to come back and admire this later because I was going to do a favour for Abby. She'd asked me to build a template for an auto sorter for her so that she could understand more about how it works, and I went through her Nether tunnel which was amazing. She had these archways in place which looked brilliant, and when I went through her portal and ended up on the other side I was amazed. She had designed a beautiful base. It was absolutely astonishing. The pathways, the builds, the level of detail, even things like leaves and bamboo, which I never use. She was also selling spyglasses, so I picked myself one up. But her base just seemed to expand forever. I got to work building the item sorter for her, using as basic materials as I could, but I couldn't get it to work and I couldn't figure out why until it hit me, you're missing a bit of redstone. So I put the bit of redstone in place and everything started working the way that it should. I finished up quickly because I wanted to go and admire that Nether tunnel. When I got back to base, I got to work building a pond because there was already one in place that had the clay around it that had formed naturally, but I wanted to expand it and make it big. I wanted to have axolotls in there and some glow squid. So I just went around removing blocks, placing blocks, putting the water in place, dealing with the slimes as and when they arose, and I ended up building something that I was quite proud of. I can't lie, the slimes were really starting to get on my last nerve. They were just constant. But after I dealt with the slimes, I went around and put sea lanterns in place to light it up nicely. I knew this wasn't going to stop the slimes from spawning, but it might stop any other mobs from spawning. And after I put all the light sources in place, I put in this pathway going down into our temporary workstation area, and then I put a path around the side of the pond so I could access the rest of the cave, which was very expansive, but more on that in a bit, because I want to get a cinematic showcase of the base so far. I just got in position to get a good shot, and then this slime decided to come a cutscene down, so I had to put my HUD back on, which was really annoying. Now, I hate slime so much, this season has been nuts. I had to dispatch of these stupid slimes and then give the cinematic shots another go. I had a path that now led to the rest of the cave, so I figured I'd better run through and light it all up. A creeper chased me down a hole, and once I get down to the bottom of the hole, I actually came across an area that I'd found previously with a skelly spawner in it, and I thought, yes, we'll turn this into a farm further down the line. But I carried on lighting up the cave in all the high areas and the low areas, and I came across some more cobblestone that I hadn't put there, and that could only mean one thing: another spawner. But it was crappy, it turned out to be a zombie spawner. Then this zombie villager hit me, so of course I killed him because he shouldn't have hit me. Who does he think he is? And as I carried on exploring and lighting up, I realised for every torch I was placing, I needed to place 5 more torches. So I started gathering up resources that I found along the way in order to build up an area of treasures. I wanted a pile of treasures that I was going to be able to look at and go, yes, look how rich I am. So it was just me, a stack of torches, and my Silk Touch pickaxe, and we found diamonds and iron and all sorts, and we took them back to base and built up our treasure pile, and oh my god, does it look good. It just looks amazing with all the different ores in there. I hope I never have to mine this out, but oh no, you After that very rude interruption, I built up the pile of treasures even more and just made it look awesome. And then I went out strip mining because I wanted more to add to it, and I was down in the mines for a good few days. But I did come across, again, diamonds, iron, gold, all that good stuff. I even had some leftover quartz that I managed to put in here that I'd silk touched earlier, and my pile of treasures was looking awesome. But Lady Demon had come to give me a hand with the base, and I didn't want any more interruptions. I just wanted to show her the base and give her a tour of everything that was going on in here and what we'd built so far and how everything...
I can't believe you've done this.
Well, on the plus side, it wasn't a slime and it wasn't a creeper. I'd been tagged, and my forfeit was to go and scare 3 people with the tag before I actually tagged someone, and bonus points for recording it. Well, I recorded it. I called Rick a but I didn't have time to deal with the tag right now because we had to get Lady Demon set up with tools and armour. So we spent a long time at the enchantment table figuring out what enchantment she was going to need on the diamond armour that I'd given her. And then I decided that it would be easier if I just took the entire enchantment setup over to the Guardian farm so that we could just get the XP and then do the enchanting all in the same place. Lady Demon was a bit nervous about the fact that it was so open and she could fall off, so I built up an area around the ladder so that it was a little bit more protected and there was less chance of her just falling to her death. I did punch her though, so yeah, sorry about that. Oops. And we spent 2 days, days 220 and 21, just building up her enchantments, getting XP from the Guardian farm, and building up our stores of all of the Prismarine blocks that we needed as well. We jumped on our row in the Nether and made our way back to spawn. Armed with diamonds as currency, we went and found ourselves a bookshop which had a lovely coffee cup on the top of it, and we went in search of all of the key books that we were going to be needing, such as Unbreaking, Efficiency, but most of all, Mending. That's what we were here for. So Lady Demon paid for her mending books in diamonds, and we took them back to base and used them to put on all of her items. But we did stop off at the post office first, set up a post box for her so that she had somewhere that she could collect things from other players. But she was standing on a pressure plate holding the gate open, and a zombie came in and started attacking her, but she defended herself like a pro. What a warrior. Equipped with all of the books that we were going to need, we headed back to our Nether tunnel. The piston door was a bit iffy, but hey, that's just bedrock for you. We made it through the piston door fine, and as I was running down, I noticed a player name off to the left, and it turned out to be none other than Princess. So I said hi Princess, but she didn't hear me because I didn't have a mic on. And then we got back to base, I had a little snack, placed 3 anvils down so that Lady Demon had no chance of running out, and then she equipped her new shiny diamond armor, ready for anything that the game was going to throw at her. But actually, we then logged off, and when I logged in the next day, she'd done a load of work. She'd managed to dig out a load of an area, section it off for me, and she clearly knew, without me having told her, what my plans were for expanding the area for storage. So I went and checked it out, and actually it looked pretty good. There was a little bit more work that needed to be done. I'll get to that in the next episode, but this was a pretty good start. I, however, had another project in mind, so I made my way to the abandoned mine shaft because I had an area in mind that I was going to section off for villagers, because I hadn't deliberately done anything with villagers yet because they're a pain in the arse. But this area looked like a good area to turn into an underground village and a trading hall of some sort. So I checked out the area, made sure that it was all lit up, and I was hunting for any holes that villagers might escape out of, which there were a few, and I blocked them off. It didn't have to be pretty, it just had to be functional. And on day 224, I started working on a path leading in there. I had all of the supplies that I needed to make something cool, and the path was just the beginning. I had this image in my head of how it was going to look, and it was going to incorporate some of these pre-existing areas, some of these pre-existing walkways, but I wanted to half slab it so that nothing could spawn on here, even if I got rid of all of the glowberries. And the last thing that I did on day 224 going into 225 was just to remove some of these blocks before I logged off. In the next episode, we're going to go and stalk some people with the tag, because we've got to get rid of that. I've got to scare 3 people before I can actually tag someone, which I do. We also set up that skelly spawner to get some XP and some bones for bone meal when we get to work with our zombie villagers. But that's it for this episode. Really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like. If you loved it and want to see more, subscribe. But that's it from me. I'll catch you in the next one. See you. Good night.